Testing, 1, 2. Hello, good evening everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? All right, welcome to the Volusia County Fair Prospect Market Steer Show. Let me try that one more time. How's everybody doing tonight? Let's hear it. Yeah, all right. Hey, let's put your hands together. We're going to welcome the exhibitors in the ring. All right. All right, that's the spirit. That's what I want to hear every time we call one of these kids' names tonight. Whenever you hear your chapter, where you're from, we announce it, let a big old yell out. Let's give another round of applause one more time. There we go. All right, my name is Troy Rentz. I have the honor of emceeing the show tonight. We're going to start off here with our invocation. If you would please stand and remove your hats. Our invocation is going to be given by Hayden Fowler.
Can everybody please remove your hats and bow your heads? Dear Heavenly Father, as we come here today, we ask that you pray to have eyes that see the best in people, a heart that forgives the worst, a mind that forgets the bad, and a soul that never loses faith in God. We thank you for allowing us to be here today, and I pray that we all make it home safely this evening. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you, Hayden. You please remain standing. Your Pledge of Allegiance will be from Zoe Warnsford.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you. 4-H Creed will be by Hattie Boulard.
I pledge my head to clear thinking, my heart to greater loyalty, my hands for larger service, and my health for better living. For my club, my community, my country, and my world.
All right, let's hear it for Hattie. Great job. FFA Motto by Mia Portillo.
Learning to do, doing to learn, earning to live, living to serve.
Great job, Mia. All right. Let's give these exhibitors one more big round of applause as they go back and get their animals. We're going to get off started with our Prospect Steer Show. All right, we're getting ready to kick off our Prospect Steer Show. I'd like to introduce our judge this evening, all the way from Chiefland, Florida. Let's hear it for Dallas Locke. All right, looks like we got Class 1 in the hole here. Let's go ahead and give him the gate. From Taylor FFA, showing a main cross, Liera Dixon. From Deltona Senior FFA, let's hear it for Zoe Warnsford. Got a main Angus cross here. How about Brandon Johnson? From New Smyrna Beach High School FFA with the Angus, Haley Lusner. And rounding out the class with the Brangus from New Smyrna Beach High School FFA, Tatum Walker. We'd like to recognize our award sponsors. Grand champion for the Prospect Steer division. We're going to receive a jacket and a banner sponsored by the Hall family. Reserve champion will receive a banner also sponsored by the Hall family. Florida Grand champion will receive a jacket and a banner sponsored by the Volusia Stock Show Syndicate, a belt buckle, and $250 also sponsored by the Volusia Stock Show Syndicate. We're Florida Reserve Champion will receive a banner and $100 sponsored by the Volusia Stock Show Syndicate. Junior Showmanship and Senior Showmanship will receive a banner and $50 sponsored by Lusner Feed Mills and Seville Slaughterhouse. All right.
All right, what a good way to start off our feeder steer show this evening with two high quality ones that kind of surface pretty easy for us. We'll go ahead and start with the young ladies brown tinge steer. I think one that just gives us a little more high quality look from the side, one that gets out and goes and hits his track just a notch better, collects that one's spines just a little better when you ask them to lead compared to our young ladies, primarily Angus of appearance steer going to come in second. A steer that has plenty of shape, especially when you get up over his top. That guy wants to get a little rigid in the way he holds his spine, wants to get up in his loin. We'd like to maybe give that one just a notch more foot and bone, make him a little more competitive there with our extremely classy looking steer to start us off with. Young ladies, kind of Brangus-y looking steer going to come next. One that I think is just a high quality, practical type of American influence steer. One that we really like how big footed and big bone that one is. This one just gets a little piecey in the way it's put together. We'd like to level that guy up from hooks to pins just a skosh to make that one just a little more attractive there on the side. Young man's black steer going to come next. A steer that's got plenty of a length of body and frame to him. This guy just gets a little outpowered out here, especially when you step in right behind that one. We like to stouten that one up and give that one just a little more shape. Young ladies, Santa Gertrudis appearance steer going to come next. Easy, practical built one that just gets a little too frail in his foot and bone. We like to stout that one up from a muscularity standpoint, give that one just a little more shape and dimension. A good group of steers there to start off our feeder steer show. Pay those young people off with another big round of applause.
Let's hear it for Liara Dixon. All right. All right, Class 2, weights ranging from 491 pounds to 590 pounds. We're going to start them off right here from Dewan Middle School, FFA, Mia Portillo. From Dewan Senior FFA, showing the main cross, Hayden Fowler. Got a short horn right here, boys. From Taylor FFA, Justin Davis. And rounding out the class, with an Angus cross from Silver Sands Middle School FFA, Chase Fowler.
We get here in our second class, get a little deeper water as far as quality goes. These top two are really sharp, good-looking cattle when you step off and look at them from the side. Young lady's going to start the class off one that I think is just does so in his overall structural build. One that, man, you really when he first walks in, man, you really notice how big and stout that one is. He's monster-backed and big-ended. He's one that gets out and goes good enough for us. Maybe not the sleekest up front, and wants to maybe get a little round out of his hip, but I think the same can be said for a young man's steer going to come second. I think that one excels our class winner in terms of presence up front. We really love how long and extended and neat that one is. That guy wants to get a little bold and opened up there at the point of his shoulder, gets a little tucked in there in his pin set. We'd level that guy up and knock him down in his flank just a little bit. That's being critical of an awfully nice one. Young man, shorthorn appearing steer, super long and level in his lines. We really admire how the growth and performance this guy's projected on us. One that I think Joe just gives up a little bit as far as feeding capacity in the center body there. Young ladies, brindle steer going to come next. One that is just a practical, easy feeding, good middled one. One that gets a little off in his balance, wants to get a little deeper in his chest in relation to his flank. We'd like to soften that one up and maybe just open him up there in his pin set and make him just a notch wider. But a good group there on that top end. Really like those two black steers.
All right, let's hear it for your Class 2 winner, Hayden Fowler. Class 3 here. Weights ranging from 591 pounds to 655 pounds. We're going to start them off right here, showing the Angus Cross. Let's hear it for Cheyenne Huff. From DeLand Senior FFA. How about Candace Hall? Got a red Angus here from Taylor FFA. Autumn Johnson. And rounding out the class, showing a main cross. How about Jaden Sadler?
Another high-quality duo up here on the top end of this class. Our young lady with the black motley face steer going to win this class. One I think does so off of both of these two are high-quality, good-looking ones from the side. I think this one just has a little more meat and potatoes, so to speak. This one has a little more natural thickness. natural spread and dimension of muscle, especially when you step in behind the cattle. One that's a little wider there from stifle to stifle. Young lady with a black baldy stocking-legged steer going to come next. One that I think probably excels our class winner in terms of a front end and extension. We really like how high and tight that one ties in out of the top side of his shoulder. One that I think just gives up some as far as muscle. Looks a little more feminine and refined in its makeup from a muscularity standpoint. We like to stout that one up, give them a run for our class winner. Young lady with the red steer going to come next. One that is a easy feed and practical built one. One that gets a little straight and upright in the angle of his shoulder. Wants to taper there from hooks to pins. Not quite as wide there in his pin set. We like to stouten that one up and make that one balance up just a notch better. Young lady with a big growthy black steer there going to round out the class. High performing one that I think we need just a little more time, a little more feed bucket and groceries in that one. Make him just a little bit fuller in his overall look and feeding ability. But a good group there on the top end. Look forward to seeing those class winners back.
All right, let's hear it for Jaden Sadler. All right, Class 4, weights ranging from 656 pounds to 700 pounds. We're going to start off here with the Angus. Let's hear it for Georgia Huff. From Adventures 4-H, showing the main Angus, Harmony Richardson. Got to bring us right here from New Smyrna Beach High School, FFA, Joshua Briggs. And rounding out the class from Silver Sands Middle School, FFA, Mary McQuarrie.
Get into our heavyweights of our prospect steer show. I think we have an intriguing duo of cattle here up on the top end. Young Lady's Black Baldy going to win the class. That one's just freakish in his parts and pieces. One that is super cool looking up front, and when you get in behind, that one's probably one of the biggest back, stoutest hipped ones we've seen today. We'd like to maybe soften that guy up at the ground just a little bit. He wants to get a little stiff and upright, set him down a little softer at the ground. I think the angle to his shoulder read's good, his hock is good. Like I say, that's just being critical on a pretty neat one there to start us off with. Young Lady's Black Steer there going to come next. A really soft, easy feeding appearing one that I think just doesn't have quite the top shape, especially right in there behind his blade. We like to pull that one apart just a notch. Gets a little bold and open in the shoulder. Wants to get a little pinched in his heart there. We like to maybe, just strengthen that one up there right in behind his shoulder. Give him just a little more punch and wow. But a really nice looking one, well presented one. Young Lady did a good job of showing that one. Young man going to come next with the Brangus Steer. A high-growth, high-performing animal, one that just gives up a little bit its foot and bone. We'd like to maybe stouten that one up and give that one just a little more muscularity and feature there, but a good high-quality, American-appearing steer there to be third in this class. Round the class out with the Young Lady's Black Motley Face Steer. Steer that's good in his body, good in his structure. We just got to make that one just a little bit stouter, give him a little more muscle there, but a good group of steer on the top end. Look forward to seeing that Black Baldy back out here.
All right, let's hear it for the class winner, Mary McQuarrie. All right. All right, now we're going to bring in all your class winners to determine our grand champion. Coming in from Class 1, Leara Dixon from Taylor FFA. Your Class 2 winner from DeLand Senior FFA, Hayden Fowler. Class 3 winner with the main cross, Jaden Sadler. And your Class 4 winner back in the ring from Silver Sands Middle School FFA, Mary McQuarrie.
We got our class winners out here. Very pleased with the top end of how the feeder steer show went. I had a couple years ago came and sorted through the steers here, and definitely commend the exhibitors, for stepping their game up as far as the quality goes. When this top end is definitely the deepest I've seen over here, and even within the classes was definitely deeper than what we've seen. But I hope everybody along ringside was able to kind of halfway follow along with what we were going for here on this feeder steer. Deal's just a nickel different than evaluating fat cattle. We got to be a little more, I guess, subjective in this group, even more so than a regular, fat cattle class. We got to kind of project the future on these things and kind of see where they're gonna go. I assume, most of this deal is kind of geared towards coming back here at a year from now. So that's hats off. Look forward to seeing whoever gets to come back and evaluate the steer show next year. Definitely has some quality on the top end of that market steer show for sure. But I think, as we go from top to bottom, and from the lightest weight to the heaviest, I think we were able to keep some cattle towards the front of the classes that were first and foremost structurally sound, some cattle that had some muscle and shape, some center body and dimension to them. And also, like I say, this is a steer show, so the cattle need to be, relatively attractive, the best they can be from their group of contemporaries there that they came out of. I think, we found those animals out here. Now, like I say, it gets a little tougher on me out here as we kind of, pick and choose and kind of now we get to look into where we project these cattle to be, a year from now, or even maybe a little sooner in some cases, or maybe a little later in some. But I think we, all these cattle have the capability of reaching a good endpoint there. Some maybe are just going to be a little smaller, a little quicker than others. I think we got to take some of those things into consideration as we look to projecting those animals from a year from now. But I think the quality is good. The quality's deep. We'll go back and I'll take another pass through them. We'll find us a champion, wait on that second, and we'll come back and get us a reserve.
Congratulations to Mary McQueary from Silver Sands Middle School FFA, your grand champion.
As we wait on our second place, so I think our champion is one that, like I say, he checked all the boxes for me. He's one that I think, as we look for to him in the future, is one that I think is going to, probably reach a little easier way to manage that one, to get him to, an ideal market weight, being in that upper 12s, 13 range. I think that guy's definitely got the frame and ability to get there and still maintain a pretty cool look from the side. He was a big-footed, big-hipped one. We like to, like I say, look forward to seeing that guy back out here, a year from now and see, see what kind of feeding these young people can get these things on. Like I say, we bringing the second back in?
And we're bringing in Harmony Richardson from Adventures 4-H. She was your Class 4 second place winner. She's coming in the ring momentarily.
Young lady brings our second place out of that heavyweight class back in. I don't think we fall off from a quality standpoint at all. One that we talked about in class, having a pretty bright future ahead of that one. I think there's one out here, though. We question maybe, is he ever going to be big enough? But I think, that's up for discussion. But I think he's one that is pretty complete other than that. Probably one of the bigger hip, the second biggest hipped one, biggest topped one would be our young lady here out of our second class. She'll be our reserve.
Congratulations, Hayden Fowler, your reserve champion from DeLand Senior FFA. All right, this is for your junior showmanship. Junior showmanship. Mia Portillo. Justin Davis. And Harmony Richardson.
Get our junior showmanship out here. Like I say, I'm one that being a show dad, I'm kind of big on showmanship, man, especially cattle showmanship, making sure my girls are pretty competitive in that arena, I guess you could say. But so like I say, I know what it takes to get to be a champion showman. You know, the amount of work that you have to put in at the house, I think definitely comes and shines as we get out here in the drive, in a showmanship competition. I think, though, just from the basics of showmanship, kind of head placement and ring awareness and using our show stick to a minimum and walking these animals into place. And I understand that in this feeder steer division, it's a little harder. It's, maybe these animals' first time being out, being to town, so they're not going to cooperate quite as nicely, though. But I think there's one out here, young person, I think, from the time that I came in here, as far as from a junior standpoint, though, goes just kind of want it coming and going. Everybody else is just out here, trying to duke it out for second. I know we only get to pick one, so we'll go ahead and select our young lady there with the brindle steer. She'll be our champion junior showman.
All right, let's hear it for Mia Portillo. All right. All right, next in we're going to do our senior showmanship. Starting off here with Jaden Sadler. Haley Lusner. Tatum Walker. Hayden Fowler. And Candace Hall. Both junior and senior showmen, they're going to receive a banner and $50, sponsored by Lusner Feed Mills and Seville Slaughterhouse. Thank you.
As we get out here in our senior drive, we, I'm a little more critical and a little tougher on these older kids. I think, though, it's, like I say, concept still the same. A lot of times this showmanship, to me, I think is, you set the precedent within the first, couple seconds you're in the show ring. You kind of, as an evaluator, you kind of know if they got it or do they don't. I think it's not one of these things that you can kind of, build yourself within the show to get up to that point. You either had it when you came in or you didn't. I think in these, for the most part, these young people kind of had that. There's some minute things, comes down to personal preference as to, maybe how the exhibitor stands and holds their self, in relation to their animal. I'm a feet together kind of a guy, standing there, always making sure, working those animals all the time, trying to get those animals just right. If you got to take an extra lap, that's not a big deal for me as long as these animals get right. We'll go ahead and hurry up and pick one because I guess we're all getting tired out here. We still got a pretty decent show to go on. But our young lady there on the end, she'll be our champion junior showman.
Congratulations to Hayden Fowler. All right, back here in the ring, we're going to go for the reserve champion, Florida-born reserve champion.
The winner, the grand champion, went to Hayden Fowler.
The grand champion, Florida-born, went to Hayden Fowler. This is for reserve in the ring right here. We have Liera Dixon, Jaden Sadler, and Harmony Richardson.
We bring these three calves back in here for our reserve Florida bred. Like I say, we talked these guys in class. We saw them. They were all in contention in my mind, as winning the whole deal. So our quality is definitely, top notch, especially we look at these animals, being born and raised here in Florida. I think that's kind of our goal. But like I say, I think all three of these are super high quality. I really was liking and digging that one in class. Young lady there with the black motley faced steer should be our reserve Florida bred. One that I think just kind of puts together and is so smooth in the way this one transitions from each part of his body. Maybe not the stoutest. I think, though, definitely one of the more complete animals we've seen out here this evening. Congratulations to her.
Congratulations, Jaden Sadler, your reserve champion Florida bred. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our prospect steer show. We're going to move right in along here to our market steer show. Fat steers coming up right here. As our market steers are lining up, we'll recognize our award sponsors. Award sponsors for the Market Steer Show. The grand champion will receive a jacket and a banner and a belt buckle, all sponsored by McMillan Creek Ranch. All right. Your reserve champion will receive a banner sponsored by the Volusia County Cattlewomen's Association. Your youth group grand champion will receive a jacket and a banner sponsored by the Volusia County Cattlewomen's Association. They also sponsored the reserve champion. They will receive a banner. All right, Class 1, weights ranging from 955 pounds to 1,137 pounds. Lead him out the gate, showing the Charlet cross. Hey, let's hear it for Jared Lafise. From Heritage Middle School FFA, Haley Burke. From DeLand Senior FFA, showing the Beef Master, Luke Lunsford. From DeLand Senior FFA, with the Wagyu Simmental, Zeus Hernandez. Got a Brayford here from New Smyrna Beach High School, FFA, Joshua Briggs. And rounding out the class from Adventures 4-H with the Beefmaster, Harmony Richardson.
Get our first class of lightweight market steers out here. He's a young man with the white steer to win the class. I think one that puts together the best composition as far as muscle and fat. That one's got plenty of thickness when you step in behind him. He's may not be the prettiest when you look at him from the side. He wants to get a little up there in his loin and break down in his top. I think, though, his center body and his added softness, I think, kind of gives him the advantage of our young lady going to come second. Steer that's just as thick-ended, I would say, as our class winner. Just not quite as pretty and attractive of a package. That one's got plenty of shape up high. Get your hands on that guy, even at a lightweight. He's got some softness and some finish there. One that maybe we like to soften that guy up there in his flank, make him just balance up just a notch better. I think a good group there to start us off with. Young man probably with the heaviest finish, lightweight, going to come next. One that is super good as far as young man did a fantastic job of getting that one fat. I think we need to muscle that one up just a little bit, power him up when you step in behind him. He wants to get a little narrower there from stifle to stifle. Young man going to come out with a big raw bone. Brayford appearance steer going to come next. One that I think is just a big, tall, growthy individual. One that just is a little too lean for us today. When you get your hands on that guy, he's a little harder to the touch there. We'd like to soften that guy up, give him a few more days on feed. Young man with the black calf going to come next. One that I think is, got plenty of shape when you get down his top and get out of his quarter there. The Wagyu cross steer, like I say, potential buyer there in the audience. He'd be the one I'd mark down, but one that I think just from a balance and eye appeal standpoint has to shuffle on down to the back. Young lady going to round the class out there with the lightweight steer. One that gets a little too bad as far as structure goes. One that gets a little too straight and bucked over in his front. He wants to stand up and not flex near as good off his pastern. We'd like to maybe balance that one up, make him just a little more deeper flanked in relation to his chest. But a good group there on the top end of that group, a good group of lightweight fast steers.
All right, let's hear it for Jared Lafise, your Class 1 winner. All right. Class 2, we're going to give them the gate. Weights ranging from 1,143 pounds to 1,196 pounds. Number 46, with a Hereford cross from Silver Sands Middle School, FFA, Mary McQuarrie. Number 36, from New Smyrna Beach High School, FFA, Haley Lusner. Showing Angus, number 48, from New Smyrna Beach Middle School, FFA, Rylan Hole. Got a Charolais right here, boys, from Cracker 4-H. Number 34, let's hear it for Ethan Darty. And rounding out the class, from Pine Ridge High School, FFA, Hayden Ranke. I want to remind everyone, tomorrow night at 6 o'clock is our auction, our livestock auction. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell everyone at work. Come out here and support these kids. A lot of them's going to use this money to send them off to college. Show your support. Come out here and bid on these animals. We're going to start off selling our market lambs, and we're going to move into our steers. Then our market swine will be last. Come out here and show your support.
cameras are going to
You going back to the booth? Or you think you're
It's actually every back up. Yeah. Put it on back.
We get our two primarily Angus steers out here at the top of this class. Two cattle, I think, though, just are just from a functionality standpoint, kind of work their way up to this. Two easy feeding, easy doing kind. Two cattle that maybe not the biggest hipped and the biggest bone, but they don't have all the ESTs. I think they're probably the most fault-free out of this group. Some cattle that'll definitely hit the mark as far as a grade standpoint goes. Some cattle that I think maybe give up just a notch of eye appeal in certain places, not necessarily overall, but I think some cattle that are definitely functional, some cattle that, you know, that are sound and get out and go. Like I say, not the biggest and stoutest. I think just the most practical in the out of this group of middleweight steers, I guess. Young man going to come out with the black and white steer, a steer that I think maybe could be, if he was just maybe a notch younger and a notch bigger, as far as a weight goes, be a little more competitive. I think a steer that gets a little stale-headed. He wants to get a little, like I say, that guy's needs to be just be more of him. I think he's got the frame, he's got the foot and the bone, he's got the look up front. I think he's one that just there needs to be more of this calf. When you get in over the top of this one, he wants to get awful tight and hard in his forerib, and that guy wants to get drop down in his pin set, be a little flatter and taper to the ground. Young lady going to come out with the kind of brindle steer next. Two steers that are pretty comparable in their way they're put together. Some easy feeding, practical kind. Young lady, I think, just is a little farther along from a finish standpoint. When you put your hands on that guy, he's just a little softer and mellower there. Young man going to round the class out with a long-bodied, long-spined one that gives up a little as far as balance and a little bit of finish. When you put your hands on that guy, he's a little harder from a fat cover standpoint, but a good group of steers there. Those practical Angus steers leading the group off.
Congratulations to Rylan Hole, your Class 2 winner. All right. Class 3 in the ring. From New Smyrna Beach High School, FFA, with the Beefmaster here, Thomas Conley. From Taylor, FFA, showing a main shorthorn. Let's hear it for Justin Davis. From ROL 4H, number 25. How about Kyle Hunt? From Pine Ridge High School, FFA, number 37. How about Landon McFarland? And rounding out the class, number 31, showing the main Angus cross, Brandon Johnson. I'd like to recognize some of our award sponsors here. Volusia County Born and Bred is going to receive a belt buckle sponsored by the Volusia County Cattlemen's Association. How many here like Cracker Day? Yeah, all right. Thank you, Volusia County Cattlemen's. First place for weight gain contest receives $50, sponsored by the Doug Weaver and family. Also $50 in memory of Bud Dow by the Volusia Stock Show Syndicate. Second place, $50, sponsored by Ronnie Hall. Thank you. Junior and senior showmanship both will receive a banner and $50, sponsored by the Volusia County Cattlemen's Association. All right.
We get our getting some cattle in here that are getting closer to some acceptable market weights. Young man brings one in here just in wins for fun. I think if you don't like that one, I don't really know what you're really looking for from a show steer standpoint. That guy checks all the boxes. He's awful big and stout. He's still super cool looking from the side. Gets out and goes, hits his mark. We'll look forward to looking at that guy back out here in the championship drive. Young man with the blue steer, I think. Super good, complete animal. Think just kind of, waded off into a little deeper water out here going up against a young man's black steer. I think, though, this guy, he's another one. He's super good looking from the side, just doesn't have all those extras and bells and whistles as our class winner does. Maybe, super complete, functional kind. Just got into a buzzsaw there in our class winner. Young man coming out with a black steer coming next. One, like I say, refer back to what we talked about with the old Wagyu there. Another steer you wouldn't mind doing a little eating on later. I think one super, sound and functional in the way he's put together. Awful big-bodied and bold and robust in his rib cage. Just not quite stout enough to run with those big dogs up front. Did a fantastic job of getting that one, to a good finished endpoint. Young man going to come out next with another good, easy feeding one. Super big-bodied. That one gets a little ill-built in the way it's put together from a structure standpoint. He's a little too straight and upright in the angle of his shoulder. He doesn't ever want to set down those rear two quite as soft as he needs to at the ground. Young man coming out with the longest bodied animal we've seen thus far. One that I think just gets a little too piecey in the way he's put together. We'd like to see that guy balance up just a notch better. But a good easy feeding group there from top to bottom. Like I say, look forward to seeing that black steer back out here in our championship drive.
All right. Congratulations to Landon McFarland from Pine Ridge High School, FFA. Class 4 coming in the ring. Weights ranging from 1,262 pounds to 1,307 pounds. We're going to start them off right here from Silver Sands Middle School, FFA. Got an Angus cross. Let's hear it for Chase Fowler. Number 30 with the Angus mane. How about William Johnson? From Taylor, FFA, showing the Angus cross, number 33. Hey, let's hear it for Shannon Minger. Number 38 with a Beefmaster from Pine Ridge High School, FFA, Kyle Merriam. Got a semi-Angus here from Adventures 4-H, number 29, Haley Hosak. And rounding out the class with an Angus cross, number 42, from New Smyrna Beach High School, FFA, Olivia Fiddler.
Once again, we get out here in these upper 12s, low 13s, and a young man brings us, a steer, like bringing a gun to a knife fight. This one just wins for fun. He's awful big and stout, super cool looking from the side. When he first brought that thing up and had him set up correctly, man, that thing gave us an awesome look there over here from the side. Getting critical on that one. That one wants to knuckle up a little bit. When you ask him to lead, he's not quite as soft at the ground, doesn't want to set him down, kind of pops his pasterns just a notch. We like to soften him up there. But, man, on the silhouette, that guy gives you a killer look. He's big and stout and burly, opened up, soft, good to the handle. We like that one a good deal. We had some give and take here in second and third. We went with a steer I think maybe a little gives up a little bit as far as appearance from just an eye appeal standpoint. I think kind of wins this battle here for second from a structural integrity standpoint. That one's laid back a little better in the angle of his shoulder, gets out and reaches off his front end a little better for us. We'll let him be second. Young lady going to come with a black baldy, super cool looking from the side, monster footed, monster bone. That guy's big hipped and big ended. He wants to get a little harder, and he's made there in his forerib, gets a little straighter and upright, almost wants to kind of buck over there when she gets him relaxed. We like to, set that one back there off his front end, make him just a little more fluid, make him a little fuller, a few more days on feed. Come on, sweetheart. Young lady coming with the black calf there, just practical, easy feeding, big-bodied one. Just doesn't have all those extras compared to our top three. Gets a little plainer in his look up front, gets a little narrower there when you step in behind him, wants to kind of taper from hooks to pins, gets a little flatter there. There in his lower quarter. Same could be said for a young lady with the black baldy steer. A good easy feeding one, big-bodied, bold-ribbed. We like that. That one's easy feeding look. He just gives up a little bit his look and performance from a muscle standpoint. Round the class off with a young man's wild-colored one. He's got cool hair. His calf's got cool hair. But that one, super good looking from the shoulder forward. We love how high and tight that one ties in there at the top side of his shoulder. That one just gets a little too rangy and piecey. He's not quite as stout enough to run any higher in that class. Good group there of blue ribbon cattle. Go ahead and pay those young people off with another big round of applause.
All right, congratulations to Chase Fowler from Silver Sands Middle School. All right, we're loaded here, folks. Moving into Class 5. Class 5. Number 39 from Pine Ridge High School, FFA, Kylie Ranke. From Volusia Show Pride, 4-H, showing a Beefmaster. Ear tag number 1, Hattie Millard. From New Smyrna Beach High School, FFA, you got a Beefmaster Cross, number 49, Nicole Sangiamo. And rounding out the class, ear tag number 2 from Volusia Show Pride, 4-H, Quentin Millard.
Get out here in our heavyweights. It's another kind of runaway with the young ladies. Yellow steer, I think one that just marks all the boxes for us. That one's big and stout, big-footed, big bone, awful good looking from the side. Like I say, that one might get a little weak there right in behind his shoulder. We like to stouten him up just a notch right there coming out of the backside of his blade. I think that's an awful good one. Like I say, look forward to be comparative there to some of those class winners we saw earlier. Young man's Hereford appearing steer. You know, I think from here back, we just kind of, we got some close races in this group. I think young man has got a steer that's just a little more fault-free from a structure standpoint. Want to lead that guy out. He just balances up just a notch nicer from the rest of us. Young lady with the black steer going to come next, a big-bodied one, one that we like to fix from a balance standpoint, power that guy up just a little bit. Young lady going to round the class out, another big old, raw bone one, super big-footed, big stout. That one gets a little just too bunched up. We like to extend that one from every aspect of his life, but a good, fat steer there nonetheless. Congratulations to all those young people on a good class of heavyweights.
All right, let's hear it for Kylie Ranke. All right, we're going to give them the gate here, folks. This is for the Grand Drive, Grand Champion 2021 Market Steer. Coming in from Class 1, showing the Charlet. Put your hands together for Jarrett Lafise. From Class 2, from New Smyrna Beach Middle School FFA, Rylan Hole. Showing the crossbred from Pine Ridge High School FFA. Let's hear it for Landon McFarland. From the east side, Silver Sands Middle School FFA, How about Chase Fowler? And your Class 5 winner back in the ring from Pine Ridge High School, FFA, Kylie Ranke. All right, this is for the big one right here. Grand Champion, cream of the crop. Grand Champion will receive a jacket, a banner, and a belt buckle, all sponsored by McMillan Creek Ranch.
Let's give all these exhibitors a big round of applause. They've all worked a long time and spent a lot of hours, a lot of early mornings and late nights getting out, feeding these things, getting these things to this point. I understand, I feel your pain on how difficult it is to try to feed one, especially through the summer, like these guys do, and to get them here, and get them in an acceptable weight range. I think, hats off to you guys for that. I'm definitely not envious of that. Our cattle back at home, we got, another 100+ days to get these things dialed in before our county fair. When it cools off a little bit, it's a little easier to feed these things. Like I say, to keep these things, hair is fresh and good looking as they are, and to still be, getting up there in a more acceptable weight range, hats off to you guys, not envious at all. We'll give our little spiel here. I think it's, been coming to the Volusia County Fair for a number of years now. Definitely, we mentioned it there in the Prospect Show. Definitely coming to fruition here. In the Fat Steer Show, the quality is up, guys. Y'all have done a fantastic job of bringing some better livestock in. Getting the quality up from end to end, from top to bottom, I'd say, is the best we've seen over here. Like I say, I haven't judged every year, but I think I've judged enough to know, that for sure the top end of this, I think could be able to, to be competitive regardless of where they went. Like I say, this is a wonderful way. I've got 2 kids showing now, and it's a wonderful way to, to raise a family. I know I brought my middle daughter here with me. She just started showing a couple years ago, but the time getting to spend with your family in the show ring is something extremely important. in this show cattle game, there's I guess it's cliche and I won't say it, but I think if with the right mindset, this would be a lot of times it's not, but it could be one of the better ways to raise a family and to raise young people, moving forward. Congratulations, I thought it was awesome, you guys. Every year I've came and I've thought it and said it. I think it's pretty neat. We start every show off with a prayer. I think that's awesome. I think from just from some life experience, I think if those of you who aren't familiar with your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, I encourage you to to foster that relationship with Him. If you need anybody to talk to about that, I'll be open after the show. Be glad to talk with you about that. Like I say, showing cattle to me is a maybe third or fourth down the list, but it's pretty passionate. That relationship I have with Him is number one, right there with family, probably then showing cattle, then being an ag teacher, in that order. But like I say, awesome job you guys have done out here. The quality of livestock you've brought before us is from the Volusia County Fair, I think is the best set top to bottom that we've seen, especially from a market steer standpoint. There's a couple heaters out here. We'll go back and take another walk back through them and find us a champion.
Hey, let's hear it for Landon McFarland from Pine Ridge High School FFA, your 2021 Market Steer Grand Champion.
We wait on our reserve to come back in. Like I say, as soon as this guy walked into the show ring, I knew that was one that was going to be, somebody better bring something for him. I think there's some other cattle in here that are pretty close, but I think, what he might give up in just maybe a handful of pounds from what I consider ideal, I guess, as a market weight and a market steer. I think he definitely surpasses that with his structural integrity and holding all that stuff together, and compared to the one we'll probably slap here in a minute for reserve. But like I say, awful good job. Congratulations, young man. Go ahead and pay that young man off with another big round of applause.
All right, back in the ring here to determine your reserve champion. Justin Davis from Taylor FFA. Hey, let's hear it for Chase Fowler, your 2021 Market Steer Reserve champion. We'd like to recognize our Florida bred winner. Goes to Ryland Hall. Ryland Hall, Florida bred winner. Ryland Hall. Ryland will receive a belt buckle sponsored by the Volusia County Cattlemen's Association. All right. Next up, we're going to do our Volusia County bred and born. Volusia County bred and born. Line it up here.
That's all right. If they ain't with their animals, they ain't getting called back in. That's all there is. Who are we missing?
All right, Volusia County bred and born. Number 27, Haley Burke. Number 2, Quentin Millard. And number 36, Haley Lusner.
Going to select our champion Volusia County born and bred steer. I think, all three of these young people brought us some quality livestock today. We talked about the big Hereford steer just being kind of a big outline, better balanced one out of that group. Like I say, I think we'd like to clean that one up through his sheath and his front end, make him just a notch more attractive. Young lady there coming out of our, I want to say one of our lighter weight classes, one that we really liked how long and cool that one is out of his front end. Big topped, big square in his hip. That one gets a little off balance, a little straighter and more rigid when he's off of either end of his skeleton. Young lady with a predominantly Angus steer going to come next, one that I think super good and easy, functional, easy feeding kind, big-bodied. He was right in there with another Angus steer in that class, maybe just a notch stouter. I think, though, when all the chips fall, I'll go ahead and pick the young lady with the Angus steer to be our champion, Volusia County.
Congratulations to Haley Lusner. All right, next in we're going to do our junior showmanship. All right, let's give him the gate here, junior showmanship. All right, junior showmanship, Justin Davis. Number 45, Chase Fowler. And coming in now, stuck in traffic back there. Let's hear it for Haley Burke. All right, Judge, this is your class, junior showman.
get out here in our junior showmanship drive. Like I say, these three young people, you know, it's getting late in the evening. These cattle aren't wanting to cooperate quite as nicely as they were when they were out here in their respective classes and we did our selection. Though I think there's one young person out here that just kind of pays attention, kind of knows what's going on, has a general idea of how this animal needs to be set. We can just work on some of those little small, minute things, you know, as far as making sure which feet we look at first to get those things set, how we stand ourselves, how we reach around to maybe position an animal, you know, or to position a leg, I think is important. But, you know, I think there was one young person out here that just kind of stepped it up and, you know, is willing to learn. And that's all we can ask as we get out here later in the evening. A young man with a blue roan steer, he'll be our champion junior showman.
All right, congratulations to Justin Davis. Yeah, junior showman. All right. This is for your senior showman. Senior showman coming in. We're going to give him the gate. In no particular order. Let's hear it for Luke Lunsford. Joshua Briggs. Haley Lusner. Kyle Hunt. Landon McFarland. Shannon Minger. Haley Hosack. And rounding out, Quentin Millard.
get our championship showman drive out here. We won't spend a whole lot of time with these young people. I know these animals are getting tired, and in my experience, the longer you stay out here, the more opportunity you allow for these animals to get get a little more unruly, and to, for the one you might have had penciled in to win, to make some more mistakes. So we'll go ahead and pick them fast and get them gone and get on the road. But I think, once again, thank you guys here at the Volusia County Fair for having me come out and evaluate your livestock and your kids. I appreciate the opportunity. I think from top to bottom, our showmanship is improving. Every time we come, we see some new fresh faces that are doing a pretty good job on the stick, and that's kind of neat to see. I think, though, like I say, we try to get showmanship. We get these animals set up in as timely and in as fast a manner as possible. Minimal use on our show stick. Kind of have some decent ring awareness about ourselves. Not always are our animals going to be the best, and cooperate quite as nicely. But I think you can tell the ones who put in some work at the house. They got these animals broke and they're ready to go. Like I say, I think there's top to bottom. There's some give and take in a handful of these, but I think I don't know, kind of opposite from maybe a handful of evaluators. I'm not big on a big intensity kind of a person for showmanship. I want to be I'd rather have a laid back kind of a showman, one that you don't necessarily see or pay attention to. I think maybe that's a little opposite and maybe some other species, but I think from a cattle standpoint, that's kind of the way I teach my kids, and we've had some pretty good success with that philosophy in the cattle ring. A little more laid back and easy going, not necessarily be seen, but just let your animal that's stuck get all the looking. But I think it comes down to a handful out here that have kind of have fit that bill. And with that being said, we'll go out and take another walk past through these things, and we'll find us a champion senior showman.
Congratulations to Haley Hosack. All right, Adventures 4-H.
So now we're going to do Florida born. We're doing Volusia.
All right, we still got one more thing to do here. We're going to bring back in, we're going to determine our Volusia born and bred, Volusia born and bred.
So is Florida bred? He said they already did Volusia. Hang on, I don't know. I think there's a discrepancy because not everyone got to compete against each other or something. So we made this. The highest place ones came back. I don't need anybody else. They only picked one, right?
It's the Florida bred that's in question. Volusia County. So then she automatically wins Florida. Unless we're doing a runoff for Florida now. We don't need, I just called up. So the same kids are coming in for Florida. Yeah. Yeah. So I need Florida then. Okay, well then I'll just tell them that they need to go back to their pens. I need Florida. So, scratch? So,
Yes, I think it's Florida bred's what we need to determine. Is that?
the problem is that Haley just won and Rylan Hull is in that same class and he's not Volusia. He's in Florida. So, Rylan Hull is not Haley.
Hey, we're going to bring back our Florida-born, determine our Florida-born winners here momentarily.
We get our contenders back out here for our Florida-born and bred. Like I say, it comes down to a handful of these down here on this end of the arena from the young ladies, two young ladies, two black steers, and a young man's blue steer. I think it all just comes down to some of that we talked about earlier in the show, the ones that combine the most as far as structural integrity and some substance and balance and eye appeal. I think all three of these are pretty practical in their build and the way they're put together. I think there's one, though, that just has all the extras. It's a little bigger footed and bigger bone, a little cooler to look at from the side, maybe just a notch stouter when you step in behind the animals. Be our young man with our blue roan steer. He'll be our champion, Florida-born.
Congratulations to Justin Davis. All right. All right, this concludes our Market Steer Show. We'd like to thank all of our volunteers. Greg Aiken, Frankie Huntsberger, Tommy Wilkins, Aaron Leary, Wade Roach, James Evans, Dallas Hall, Keith Stewart, Missy Chavez, Erica Rentz, and Otis Smith. Thanks to everyone for making this show run smoothly. We'd like to invite everyone and see them tomorrow night for our livestock auction. Come out here and support these kids. Have a good night. Thank you.